Greetings and salutations. This is the voice of Loquacious of Herd, bringing you his Afterthoughts on My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, Season 7, Episode 6, titled Forever Filly. I heartily suggest that you find and watch the episode itself, sans commentary, before proceeding with either this Afterthoughts review or viewing my full reaction, which is hosted at the link in the description. Please support the official release. Be warned, this Afterthoughts review will contain spoilers for the episode itself. And with that out of the way, on to the review. The season continues strong with yet another episode of humor and feeling. Yes, it's a slice-of-life exploration of one of the main six, specifically Rarity, and her little sister Sweetie Belle. One which explores the theme of change and maturity, coupled with a longing for the good things to remain as they are. On top of which is layered that sweet glow of happy memory and nostalgia in its best sense. And that title? A reference to Forever Young. Rather a common reference, as it turns out. It could be harkening back to the song by Bob Dylan, intended as a lullaby for his son, relating his hopes for his child, or perhaps the Rod Stewart song of the same name, which shares a similar melody and many of the same lyrics. I'm also reminded of Alphaville's song, also titled, as you doubtless guessed, Forever Young. Their version is also a wistful look back at youth, and the desire to preserve it. Plus, on the Rarity pony front, it includes the lyrics, "It's so hard to get old without a cause, I don't want to perish like a fading horse, youth's like diamonds in the sun, and diamonds are forever." And that's just 3, and there are others. It's a fairly universal theme. My Little Pony is a show that's not afraid to let its characters grow up, mature, and change, sometimes in sudden and major ways, other times gradually, slowly, a little step at a time over seasons and seasons. When these shifts come, sometimes there's a longing to cling to what was, to preserve what had been before, and, even if just in our own minds, to keep a special memory of a joyous, youthful time forever young. So with this as the episode's theme, we find ourselves starting out in Canterlot, at the Canterlot Carousel, where Sassy Saddles, who it's great to see again, is freaking out over the winter to spring fashion transition, or springsition, in the shop, and all the many details pertaining thereto. Rarity's chillin'. Everything's under control, you see. Her fashion empire is well run. What few details Sassy's worried aren't yet up to par have already been dealt with by Rarity, and Rarity's secure in the knowledge that between the two of them, everything will be fine. But then, Rarity's reminded of her beloved younger sister, and it suddenly occurs to her that Rarity has been so busy with other things in her life that time with Sweetie Belle has fallen by the wayside. This revelation is crushing, bringing on a classic bout of Rarity drama and waterworks. Once again, kudos to Sassy Saddle. She steps right in and insists that Rarity needs to go spend time with Sweetie. Things in the shop are well under control. Time with family is far too important to be put aside for later. I love how supportive Sassy is through this. So Rarity decides to rush off immediately and spend a day of fun and delight with Sweetie Belle. Whether Sweetie Belle wants to or not. And without checking in on her younger sister first. Which immediately made me suspect that this wouldn't necessarily go as well as one might hope. The Cutie Mark Crusaders are busy doing their usual thing, helping ponies get their cutie marks. In the case of Chip Cutter, this means helping the young colt realize his passion for sculpture is his special talent, thus earning him his cutie mark. Next up on their agenda, helping Zipperwill reconnect with her own cutie mark. Fun to see Zipperwill again, and even though she's still tiny, she seems a bit older than she was back in Philly Vanilli. Also her dog Ripley, much bigger. And as an aside, I loved all the pictures on the clubhouse wall. So many callbacks to those whom the CMC have assisted in one fashion or another over their time crusading. Again, I like the fact that while I can specifically identify certain episodes we have seen where some photographs originate, there are other photos there as well, implying, yet again, that there are plenty of adventures that happen off-screen. Little touches like that are something which, as I've mentioned before, I find help with world building, making it feel broader and deeper, more expansive than the delightful stories we see. So, Zipperwill is having trouble relating to her puppy these days, and since she's got an animal-related cutie mark, 3 puppy paws, which she earned the day she adopted Ripley, this disconnection between the two falls into the sphere of cutie mark problems which the CMCs help ponies out with. And they're willing to devote the full attention to the matter.
Guess who's here to spend the whole day with a little sister? Rarity?
Okay, so 2 of the 3 CMCs will be devoting their full attention to the Zipper Will problem. Sweetie Belle, she'll be spending some quality time with her big sister. And while this is a bit of an imposition, and certainly a most sudden surprise, Sweetie loves Rarity too, and is happy to have a chance to hang out. Again, kudos to Scootaloo and Applebloom for stepping up, much like Sassy Saddles already had, to facilitate this day of fun. Also, I enjoyed the joke with Rarity hunting for a fainting couch due to her excitement. Admittedly, already there are hints of trouble. Sweetie Belle takes her crusading work seriously. It's more than just a silly little game. But Rarity, from her remarks and her tone, would seem to view Sweetie's crusading as an adorable form of children playing at being grown-ups. Of course, Rarity also notices the wall of satisfied customers, and to see that Sweetie Belle has come so far and helped so many ponies is a lovely feeling. So, in some ways, Rarity can clearly see that Sweetie Belle is growing up. But this is something that Rarity clearly understands intellectually. She gets it with her head, not her heart. So right from the get-go, we have Rarity intuitively looking at her sister relationship with Sweetie Belle who was, the one who used to be, the forever young filly she loves so much. Not the older, more mature filly that Sweetie Belle has slowly grown into. And speaking of slowly growing, is it just me or are the CMC larger than they used to be? Assuming I'm right, it's been a slow, subtle kind of change, like how Twilight had a growth spurt after her alicorn apotheosis. Less an instant jump to a bigger physique, but a gradual, percentage point by percentage point growth in relative size, slight changes in neck length, horn length, and wing shape. Again, this is the sort of attention to detail with character growth and maturity that is one of the many, many things that makes My Little Pony an exceptionally enjoyable show. I love it. So, Sweetie Belle and Rarity are now out on the town, doing all of Sweetie's favorite things. Correction, doing all of the things that Rarity remembers were Sweetie's favorite things. Lovely callback with the puppet show and its Punch and Judy elements, but Sweetie's taste in theater has matured. She's into black box experimental theater now. For those not up on the theater lingo, a black box theater is a simple, usually unadorned performance space, often little more than a square room with black walls and a flat floor. Most commonly, the emphasis on production in such a space is not on sets, props, or costuming, or special effects, but on the dialogue and characterization. Rarity isn't getting it. Rarity still thinks Sweetie Belle loves the simple, comical puppet shows of days past. Sweetie Belle doesn't want to disrupt Rarity's enjoyment of their time together, so she plays along, but, well, she's just not having a great time. She's having a meh time at best. And this will become the running theme throughout much of the rest of this act. Paralleling this, we have Scootaloo and Applebloom's attempts to help Zipper Will, and is that Ripley? How much time has passed since Philly Vanilli? That's no puppy, that's a full-grown dog. Only, Zipper Will still thinks of him as a teeny tiny puppy, her beloved baby puppy boy, and she treats him as such. Ripley? He's just not into all that baby talk and puppy toys anymore. So the action continues. On the one hand, Rarity treating Sweetie as if she were still quite a bit younger and less mature than, in fact, she is. Zipper Will doing the same with Ripley, both blind to the fact that the one they're having difficulties relating with in the here and now have grown. A trip to the ice cream parlor for one of Sweetie's favorite treats from days gone by, a tiny clown-shaped ice cream. Sweetie remembers them being bigger. And really, she'd be up for a nice lunch somewhere, grabbing a salad maybe. But again, Sweetie doesn't want to detract from Rarity's obvious enjoyment of the day, even as Sweetie is finding her time with Rarity less and less enjoyable. Likewise, in the parallel story, Applebloom, Scootaloo, and Zipper Will just can't seem to interest Ripley in any of their old games. Next in the series, getting a balloon bouquet from Twisty Pop. I think we may have seen this particular balloon crafter before, and it's good to get a name for him. Sweetie Belle takes advantage of the long line for his services to pop over and check up on her Crusader friends. They're not doing so good, of course, but Sweetie is already starting to put the pieces of their problem together. Ripley, as she notes, is an awfully big puppy. As for Rarity, that moment of wistful sorrow as she watches her young sister trot off because, now, she has responsibilities to attend to. Again, in some ways Rarity can see that Sweetie is growing up, but Rarity isn't ready to face that yet. So naturally she buries that brief observation and attempts to re-rail the day. Surely doing something else the younger Sweetie Belle used to love will bring everything back around again, yes? Also, Scootaloo is a good girl, but she should be careful playing at being a puppy. I suspect that's Screwloose's job. Ripley? He'd rather chase squirrels than balls. While there, Sweetie Belle admits to her friends that her own day isn't going too well. It's like Rarity doesn't even know who Sweetie Belle is anymore. Rarity's clinging to who Sweetie Belle was. And next up, fun photographs!
And pose! And pose! Love the camera!
Hate the camera.
Love it again! Sweetie Belle, you did hate the camera for all these shots.
I loved the paired costumes. Shepherdess and lamb, chicken and egg, butterfly and caterpillar, frog and tadpole, flower and seed. Sweetie Belle? As you can see, she's done. And now things have come to a head. Zipperwill, unable to understand why her little puppy doesn't seem to love her, doesn't seem to want to do any of the fun things they used to do, rushes off, now convinced that she had somehow misunderstood the meaning and nature of her cutie-marked connection to animals. Meanwhile, Sweetie Belle has the hard talk with Rarity. Sweetie Belle isn't who she used to be. She's grown up now. This is not a message Rarity is ready to hear. This only hurts Rarity, and it frustrates Sweetie Belle to no end. Sweetie runs off to join the floundering Crusaders, leaving Rarity to struggle briefly with her pain before she doubles down on her refusal to see just how much Sweetie Belle has grown. Also, poor Twisty Pop. That heart balloon is a sweet gift, but I'm afraid that this ship will never get launched. Rarity's refusal burned that one down to the keel while it was still in dry dock. My condolences, good stallion. Sweetie speaks with Zipperwill, and in very short order, Sweetie sees the real problem here. It's the same problem she herself has been dealing with all day. Sweetie brings together the rest of the CMC and Ripley too, so that she can share her solution. Rarity, angrily hunting for Sweetie Belle to give the young filly a piece of her mind, arrives as well, but thankfully she chooses to lurk in the bushes, still in her flower costume, until Sweetie is done with her conversation. Why?
Anger is no excuse for poor manners after all.
It's the classy thing to do after all. Sweetie Belle explains that Ripley isn't just bigger, he's older. He has grown up. And trying to do things like they used to won't bring back the little puppy who was. Zipperwill must let her relationship with Ripley grow and change too, to learn how to enjoy spending time with the dog who is. And once Zipperwill embraces this truth, her problem is solved. She can relate to her animal best friend, the grown dog, not the tiny puppy, Ripley. You see, Sweetie's right, of course. Once someone has grown up, you have to accept that and adjust to that, even if it's not something you were prepared to do. And in the background, that simple truth sinks home for Rarity. She finally gets it. She understands that Sweetie Belle is growing up. No, not is growing up. In many ways, she has grown up. Rarity's always known this in a way, but understanding it, understanding what it means for their relationship, that's different. That's hard. And that can be deeply painful.
Truth is, I know you're not a little filly anymore, but it's just the last time we did all of those things together, I didn't realize it was going to be the last time. I loved doing those things with you. It's hard for me to let that go.
Growing up can be hard, and not just on the person or pony doing the growing. This episode, this lesson, is, I think, a beautifully delivered message for anyone who's watched a younger sibling, friend, or child growing up, who's seen the way their interactions, their relationships have changed over time, and who finds themselves one day suddenly missing the particular sort of good times they had shared before, times that will never be recreated, save in memory. Even if painful, this process then opens the door for new and wonderful experiences. So while there is sadness here, it's not a bad thing. It's bittersweet. And with the ponies, often much more sweet than bitter. If you wish to see my full reaction to My Little Pony Friendship is Magic Season 7, Episode 6, titled Forever Philly. The link, as I mentioned earlier, is in the description. Feel free to leave any comments or likes for that reaction here on this Afterthoughts review. And until next time, as always, kindly remember, y'all are awesome. Stay awesome.